Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm just going to show you quickly what I'm going to be using in today's video because I've got a feeling it's going to be a long one. I'm going to be testing out one of the smile line cutters that I got from Shein because I just thought, you know what, I always buy things and say like, yeah, I'm going to test this, then I never get around to it. So I just thought I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to use this one to do a bit of like colour blocking, hopefully. Obviously we'll see how well that goes when it comes to it, but yeah, I'm going to give it a go. They are really cheap, don't get me wrong, and I'm not 100% sure if they're going to work or not, but that's what testing is all about. So we're going to use those for a set. So first of all, these are the acrylics that we're going to be using from Tia's Beauty. We've got Emerald Delight, Scarlet and the Duchess, and then we've also got a really cute glitter that's very, very Christmassy from Sparkle Soulage UK. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're going to be using those, and then I've also got my Radiant White from Tia's Beauty and also a clear from Magpie. In fact, thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I've got a Magpie white as well, so I can stop wasting my Tia's Beauty white on videos. So yeah, I have. So that's perfect. So I'm using those, and then we've obviously got this pre-mixed glitter, which is Emerald Delight. It's absolutely beautiful. Then we've got Scarlet, which is just a red coloured powder, and then we've got the Duchess, which is an absolutely beautiful red pre-mixed glitter that just goes well with this cute glitter that we're going to be using. So I'm just going to get everything ready, get myself some kitchen roll, and we can get started. So I'm going to be using a small brush just so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm not rushing through everything. So I'm going to start with the colour block now because obviously it's going to take the longest. So I'm going to start with just popping a rather large bead of white. The last colour that I used with my monomer that I'm using at the moment is red, so it's a bit tainted, but it's fine. I'm not changing it just for a video because I am stingy. So here we are using that monomer that is clearly dyed a different colour at the moment, but it's fine. So I'm just applying my white. It is quite wet because my room is really, really cold. I am just going to very gently just shape it a little bit. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't do that, should I really? Because the whole point of this is to try a cutter to see if it works. So I should probably not shape it. But I'm trying to work thinly. I don't know if it's going to work. Like, obviously, I usually just colour block myself. Like, I don't use tip cutters. Like, I don't use the smile line cutters or anything. So this is all new to me. It would be helpful if I worked thicker, but again, I don't want to waste product on a test that may not even work, because obviously, even though I love doing YouTube, like, it costs me. These products do cost money, so I do need to bear that in mind. I'm just going to get rid of this little hair and dot of dust that are at the top here. There's always some somewhere. I'm just going to pop another bit of white over the top just to even that out. Okay, so I don't know how long you're supposed to wait, but I'm just going to do it because I'm worried that I'm going to leave it too long. So I'm using the largest one. I'm just going to go straight in, really. And then just pull down, get off the excess from the cutter. Would definitely be useful if I did it thicker because it's going to be pretty difficult to file this thin, but it's fine, we'll work with it. I wonder if a smaller one will fit as well. Just at the moment, it's just more like trial and error. Yes, definitely too small that one is, so we'll use this one. So I think that worked pretty well, to be fair, actually. I was expecting it to like bend when I was pressing on it and stuff like that. I can't even put too much pressure on because of it being a tip, but I'm going to leave it like that. I'm just going to try and get this bit off here. Obviously, I could file it off, it's not a problem, but I'm just going to leave that one to the side now, and then we'll keep coming back to that as it sets. So I'm then going in with this one with a full nail of glitter, but we're going to be using like all of the glitters. So I'm going to just go straight in. I'm going to pick up my Emerald Delight, pop a thin coat of that over the whole nail. So obviously if you're doing this sort of design, you need to work thin if you're going to be just piling glitter on. So I am literally just like painting it because I don't need it to be full coverage, because the amount of glitter we're going to be adding anyway, like, it will end up full coverage, so it's fine. But yeah, I'm just painting it on, popping a blob on, painting it down, and then I'm going to get Duchess, which is the red, and again, nice and light touch. Don't want to drag it too much, but I want it to get everywhere. I'm not doing really full coverage because they're going to be adding the loose glitter as well. So I'm now going into my clear, picking up a little bead, straight into my loose glitter, and then we can just place it on the nail. I like to work quite wet when doing this, but obviously if it's on a real person, don't go too wet because it's just going to flood everywhere, whereas on this it doesn't really matter, there's nowhere for it to really flood to. So I'm just popping that on, making sure my side walls are nice and neat because filing these things is an absolute nightmare. So I'm just going to do that again, a small bead, nice and wet, and then that will pick up plenty of product. Place that on, you can even pick up a little bit more to pop on top. Move that around to where I want it. I'm just going to get a little bit more just for the bottom down here that's already a bit tacky. So I try not to keep picking up acrylic, like I try and just keep adding glitter to the acrylic that's already on the nail. And then this will keep it nice and thin. Okay, and then I check from the side as well, just to make sure it's as flat as possible. And if there is any bits popping up, you can just pat them down. Makes capping a whole lot easier and it's all nice and smooth. Okay, so that's that nail. It's just going to be full crazy glitter. Absolutely love that. Then next up, I'm going to be doing a design with a bit of colour blocking down the middle. So I'm going to do that one now because I need it to set so I can move on. So I'm going to be working quite dry for this because I want to be able to mould the acrylic as soon as possible and not having it falling about all over the place. So we're going to have glitter down the middle and then we're going to have red and white either side of it. So we're going to go straight in with the glitters. So again, I'm using emerald. I'm just going to place that in the middle. I haven't used it as dry as I wanted to, but because this is just the first bit, I'm not really too bothered because I've got to add a lot to this, so it's fine. Try and keep the side areas neat, but obviously if not, it's not a problem because we can go in with a file. It's obviously pretty difficult to keep it neat when you're using glitter because it just gets everywhere, so just be as neat as possible, not like really strict. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do this all the way down with the emerald one first, and then I will go over the top again with Duchess, and then we will use the loose glitter. But as I go down, I'm constantly just cleaning up. I'm trying to keep it relatively straight all the way down. So I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera because it's going to get very boring. I'm going to do this all the way down the nail now. I'll speed it up so you can see me do it, but I'm not going to obviously talk through it and take ages. And then we can move on to the next step. So once I've done that first bit, it then gets a bit easier because you've literally just got to float over the top of what you've already done. So I'm just going to pop a few specks of the red. This is mainly just because when we use the loose glitter, if there is any tiny gaps in it or anything, then this is what you'll see in those gaps instead of it just being like clear or white or whatever. You'll see colours that are like very similar to the glitter that we're using. So once I've popped some red on, I'm just going to pick up a clear bead again into my glitter. I'm just going to place that over the top of what I've already done. Working thin because I want to cap this so we can file it at the end, of course, without worrying about getting rid of what we've popped on there. So just being wary of how thick it is. Obviously if you were doing this on a person of nails this length, it's kind of easier to do them on longer nails, things like this, because it means you can work thicker because you need it for your strength anyway, so it's not quite as difficult. I actually find doing really long nails much easier, although I don't really do them all that often. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to leave this nail. No, I'm not, I lied. I'm going to leave it just for a couple of minutes and then I'm going to cap it because we need to be able to like file it into shape and stuff. So we're going to put quite a nice generous capping layer on top to really seal in all that beautiful glitter. And then after that we can file it and then do the side walls. So I'm going to just get some clear on my brush, and we're just going to take the liquid out the back so it doesn't end up too runny, and then we're going to use this to cap this design. So I'm just going to gently pull it down. I don't want to make it too thin, and we want the side areas to be quite thick because that's obviously where we're going to file up to and get that nice crisp shape. So don't drag it too far, you don't want a really thin amount, because don't forget, like, this is you building your strength area with your clear after a design, so you want that to be nice and smooth as well. And then I'm just going to do that all the way down again. So I'm going to pop this one aside until it is set, and then we can come back and mess about with that. So we're going back to this one now, and I'm just going to get a file, and I'm going to file around that. Like I said, I have made it difficult for myself because I've worked really thin, but I'm just going to file around it anyway and just hope for the best. Now I'm going to do the next one thicker just to make my life a little bit easier, but I'm just filing around this one. I'm also going to file the surface as well. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying not to get the dust in my glitter and powders, but I'm just going to file around underneath as well, make it nice and smooth for the next layer to go on top of. And then we're just going to give this a file too. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to dust off, then I can go with my next step. Every time I do it, I am going to take this off and like replace my blue tack, because it's so annoying when it starts to come a bit loose and you're trying to put pressure on it. So I'm just going to pop that back on. Right, so next up, here we go. We're going to do a glitter. So this is a bit trickier than the white because we need layers. So I'm just going in with emerald again. I'm just going to pop that like up to that white. It doesn't really matter if it goes over it because I can just file it, but I'd rather it didn't too much because then it's less filing obviously. So I'm just going to bring that down just to make it like, so we need the cutter, because if not then it's a bit pointless. To be honest, I do think like if you can do what's it called, if you can do it without cutters, like if you can do, what's it called for Christ's sake, colour block, like I'd recommend just doing it yourself, because to be honest this is way more effort to me than it is to just do it, but I really wanted to test out these cutters so I'm doing it anyway. And then I'm going in with a little bit of red, but like I said, I am having to do the next layers thicker because I really should have done that in the first place with the white. And then I'm just going to stick my brush into my pot of glitter and just pop some pieces on top of that. Now I'm working quick because obviously each layer is going to set at different times, and I want to be able to use the cutter before any layers have set completely, so that's why I'm in a little bit of a rush, which is a bit annoying, but there you go. So I am actually, just while I'm sat here, going to build up the white. I'll come back once I've done that, because then that'll be dry enough to cut. So I've just built up the white a little bit. It's made it a bit skew with, but it's one of those things. I'll learn from it, so it's all good. I will hopefully, obviously, if I ever do use this cutter again, which I doubt it, at least I'll know like sort of what I need to do, but it's all good. So I'm going to cut into the glitter now. Because I think I may have left it a little bit too long as it is to cut into, so that's a bit annoying, but there you go. I don't know why I did the white while the glitter was still wet. That made no sense, but here we are. My brain is clearly not working quite as helpful as I could do with it being today, but there you go. I'm getting glitter everywhere. So I'm going to cut into the glitter and just stop faffing with the white. Like, let's just admit defeat with the white and just power on. It's all good. So I'm going to get this again. The smaller one might fit this time. Now it's going to be more difficult with the glitter because obviously there's actually pieces of glitter which are not going to cut like perfectly, but it's all good. We're working with it. And I also need to cap this as well, but I'll do that without the cutter. So I'm just scraping all the excess off before it has a chance to set too much. And then I'm just going to go round this glitter with, this white looks horrendous and it's bugging me. But I'm going to go round the glitter with clear now to cap it. Because then obviously, like we've learned, if it's thicker for the next one to stick to, it'll make life a lot easier. So that's good. So I'm just going to cap it. I'm not going to worry about going over the white because, like I said, if it goes over, it's not a problem. We can always just, file it at the end, so it's not an issue. But first of all, I just want to make sure that my actual line around like the free edge area of the design is thick enough. So I'm going to build that. But I have come to the conclusion that smile line cutters are just not for me. Like I don't really feel like it's easier. I actually find it a bit more difficult, but obviously that's because I'm not used to it. So if I was to use it all the time and it was like the norm for me, then of course I would start to get used to it and it would get easier. But I think if you've already mastered doing it one way, there's no real point forcing yourself to learn another way if you don't have any issues doing it the way that you already do. So I'm going to leave that one again. We're going to move on. So this one here, I'm now going to file the side walls just to get them nice and straight. It's always good to do it with a brand new file, but I don't want to ruin a new file, so I'm just going to do it with this one. And I'm just at first just doing the sides, literally just going where I've already put the line, just smoothing it out, making it nice and straight. Make sure that if you're doing this on a client, you're not digging the file into the client's nail, else it's going to be painful. It's also very difficult to file the bottoms of these because there's nothing underneath holding them up. So once I've done that, I'm then just going to go over the side area, so just to get rid of as much glitter as I can. It's super difficult to do this in focus, but I'm just going to do this over both sides, so I'll do that quickly off camera. Okay, so once we've done that, I can now do the sides. So these are going to be like a mixture of red and white. So I'm going to pop red at the top and white at the bottom. So first of all, I'm going to get a bit of white. That's clear. Oh my gosh. Just put my brush in the clear instead. But I'm going to go down the side wall with the white. So I'm just going to pop this here and just blend it up first of all. And then I'm going to pull it down. You could obviously do it all white, do one side white, one side red, or both sides white or both sides red. But I'm going to do white and red on both sides just to have it a bit different. So I'm just going to pop a little bit right at the bottom. Put it on anywhere without any product. And then once I've done that, I can then do the other side. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go in with red at the top area. I'm just going to place a bit here. Now red obviously is very pigmented, so it is a pretty difficult colour to blend. But I'm just going to go for it and hope for the best. That's my big idea. Just going to fade that out a little bit. I am going to be putting more glitter on this though, so it's not 100. I'm not really 100% worried about the fade itself, because the glitter will help with that when I apply that. But because we've not got a lot of glitter, well, we've not got a lot of red glitter in this mix in the middle, I'm going to be putting some down the sides. I'm just making sure that I'm keeping the white area clean. So every now and then I'm just getting a bit of monomer on my brush and just washing it over before that red manages to stain. And then I'm going to do the red glitter. I'm not having loads, just a little bit. So I'm just going to pop some up here and then just gently, can't even see, gently pull it down. And then I get a little bit more, just a bit further down. A bit about here, and then that'll form my fade. Making sure to keep it clean. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So this is what this nail looks like at the moment. Obviously I need to cap and top coat it, but we'll do all that at the end. So that's that nail done now. Then we're moving over to this one again. This nail is driving me insane. It takes so long using like the cutter. I think I might just scrap that now for the rest of it. But we'll see. So basically after this one I'm going to do red. Now I'm going to do the next one like how I'd normally do it, and then I'll do the rest of this nail off camera because it's going to be really boring watching the same thing done. But I'm just filing this into shape just to make sure it's nice and smooth. So I'm now just going to do red on this nail. So I'm just going to grab my brush, get my red. Now my red needs to be capped, so it doesn't need to be as thick as the other layers of colour and, well, the glitter basically. Doesn't need to be quite as thick as that because I do need to pop a layer on top. So obviously it'll be like the glitter, where I do the glitter, scrape that, and then I will cap the red. Well, I'm not going to scrape it because I can't be dealing with that, it's driving me insane. But yeah, I usually just place it and then just shape it myself basically, just like I'm doing now. It's not very often I do like a rounded sort of effect with colour block, and it's usually just loads of squares, not squares, but like straight lines and stuff. So it's a bit refreshing to do something a little bit different, but I'm just gonna leave this alone once I've finished messing with it. But I will cap basically straight away because I don't need to wait. Now I'm not using the cutter. Just going to make sure that it's nice and how I want it first. I don't have a lot down this side wall, so I'm just going to pop a little bead here. And capping once you've already got your shape with your colour is super easy because it's just a case of covering it up, not actually creating any shape or anything, which is obviously good. So once I'm happy with the coverage of my red, which I am, which just looks like that, and I'm just going to go over all of it with my clear. Nice and smooth. Make sure that that lip is how I want it. And then I can go in with my clear. So I'm going to do that. Just straight over the top. I don't need a lot because I have used the red quite thick, so I'm just going to pop that up to the edge. And like I said, once you've already got your colour how you want it anyway, it's super easy then to just whip round, add the clear. Don't want it to be too thin though, because you want to be able to file it and then butt the next one up to it. But that'll be it for this nail now on video because it's getting a bit boring. Even I'm getting bored of this nail now and I'm the one doing it. So I will finish this one off camera and basically just going to do white next and then the glitter and then the red and go on like that. So I'll leave that one there. Just tidying that up. Perfect. Right, so the other two nails are super easy, thank goodness. We're going to have a full white nail because we're going to do some red and green stamping on top. So I'm just going to do that one straight away because obviously that's nice and super easy. And then the last nail is going to be, I mean, I don't even know why I'm doing this nail because it's literally white anyway, but never mind. I want it to look the same texture and everything as the others, so I'm just going to just do a really quick wash of white over it instead of wasting my white on a white nail. And then we're going to have a glitter fade on another nail, so we'll do that one next. Just get this one out of the way. Just basically painting it on with this one, because like I said, it's not really all that necessary because the nail's already white. So the next one's going to have the glitter fade. So this one's going to be the other way around though, because we've got a glitter fade coming from the bottom on that nail that's got, what's it called? the line down the middle. So we're going to do this fade coming from the free edge upwards. So I'm going to have white all over the nail basically. Just getting rid of these little pesky hairs, they're so annoying. So we're going to have white all over the nail. I'm not really going to build up the free edge because I want it to be nice and thin, of course, but obviously if it was a real person then I would add white there, because obviously normal just human nails are not naturally white, so I would need to sort that out. But just imagine that I've done the whole nail, just making sure that's all nice and smooth. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go in with my glitter fade. So we're going to start off with the green again. I'm going to place it about here, and first of all I'm just focusing on the fade area, so that's that. And then we're going to go in with the red in about the same place, create a fade with that as well. And then once I've done that, I will focus on the lower areas. So we're going to go in with the green down here, and then the red. I'm working quickly because then I can use these beads to apply my loose glitter instead of having to add more acrylic. So I'm just going to apply that straight to that tacky pre-mixed glitter, just like that. And then I'm going to get my loose glitter on a little bit of clear, and I'm going to have a little bead of it here just where the fade starts. Add a couple of beads, add a couple of bits on top, and then I'm just going to pull that down. This is much easier to do when your white is actually like set, because then you can move this around without affecting the white. But I'm impatient, so I'm doing it straight away. Okay, so I'm just doing that. We are going to have a bit of design on top of these, but nothing crazy, because I'm aware that that would make this video like a ridiculous amount of time long. But never mind, some of you like the long videos, so we'll just say that I'm doing this video for those people, it's fine. And there we go. And then having those layers of different like glitters underneath as well almost gives it a bit of depth. It's really sweet. So once I've done that, I'm then just going to get Emerald and Duchess on the same and I'm just going to pop that here and just fade it up and down. I want one of the cute stars out of this mix on here because they're really sweet. So I'm going to pop one of those there and there. I didn't want him up there, it's annoying. There we go. Once I'm happy with the fade, I do want it to cover most of the nail because obviously the whole point of this set is it's a nice glittery one. Once I'm happy with the fade, we can just leave it alone, which takes me way longer than it should. I just can't stop messing with them. That's my problem with fades, but as long as you're happy in the end, it's all good. So I'm going to leave it like that before I go too overboard and then end up hating it. So that's that nail done. So this is what we're up to so far. We've got a full nail, we've got a half and half like this one, then we've got this one that's totally different, we've got a plain white, and then we've got this one that I need to finish off. So I'm going to go and do that off camera and then we can come back and sort it all out. I've decided to do something a little bit different with this one. So I'm actually going to go in with white for basically the rest of the nail, and then I'm going to have like a fade of the glitters again. Coming up from the bottom like that other nail, but obviously this one's got something down here so it'll look different. That's what I've decided to go with, just to mix it up a little bit so it's not just your typical like all layers of different colours in that sort of order. I do need to cover up this red up here though, and then I'm just going to apply, like you said, my glitters down here and fade them upwards. I think that'll look really effective. So I'm going to do that and then come back so we can, when I've filed them and top coated, well no, when I've, what's it called, capped and filed them, we can just pop a bit of stamping on the ones that I want to stamp and then we'll be done. So this is what we've got from what we've done so far. I am so happy with how they all turned out. I mean, I've wiped over them really briefly with some acetone, but I am just going to do it again because I've got bits of my supposed lint-free wipes on them still. It's really, really irritating, but there you go. I suppose I can't really complain because they are technically like lint-free. There's no like little fluffy bits or anything. It's just the actual stuff itself just doesn't seem to go very well with acetone, which isn't ideal because that's literally what I use them for. But anyway, so we're going to be doing a bit of stamping, not on all of them because that would be overkill for some of the nails. Some of them just are a design themselves. So obviously this one, I'm not going to have any stamping on this one. So I'm going to be popping the ones that I'm not stamping on straight into the lamp with some top coat on, and then we can stamp the ones that I'm going to be stamping separately. So I'm going to be using my Tears Beauty gel top coat, which is for hard products only. So don't use this on gel polish because it will probably crack. But I'm just popping that on this nail. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I was a bit worried that the glitter was going to be overkill, but I actually quite like it, so it's fine. Got a lot going on, but it's Christmas, so why not? Okay, so we're going to be stamping on this nail, this one, and a little bit on this one. So I'm just going to top coat this one here. Because I'm not stamping on here, we've already got a lot going on in this one, so I don't need to. I really like how this one turned out. There is a little tiny bit of white here that I haven't filed off, but to be honest with you, my hand was killing. I'd usually do stuff like that, like filing stuff like this with an e-file, but I can't use my e-file on these tips while holding them because there's not enough like strength. Like obviously they don't stick to the, what's it called, all that well, the back, like the, what's it called, blue tack, very well, so it's a bit difficult, but that's how that one turned out, so I'm super happy with that. And then I'm just going to do my stamping. So something really easy, I'm not going crazy. I'm just going to be using these two. So they're both clear jelly stamper. This one is number 11, this one is 63, and one is a red glitter and the other one is green. I'm only going to stamp one nail on camera because obviously I don't actually do the stamping itself, like scraping the plate and stuff, for you to be able to see anyway because it messes up my camera. So I am just going to do most of it off camera, and then obviously we'll top coat together at the end. But I'm just going to be using this plate that I got from Amazon recently that I've talked about a lot. I absolutely love these plates, they're such good value. But I'm just going to use a cotton pad of acetone just to clean it off. I'm just going to be using these snowflakes at the end, just making sure they're all nice and clean. But yeah, I'm going to be using these snowflakes, and I'm just going to have like some red, some green. So I'm just going to pop, just because I am lazy and I don't want to have to do it like keep doing it, I'm just going to pop my red here, my green here, and then I'm just going to swipe over those and then pick those up. So I'm using the two at the top, not the ones underneath, so I'm just going to get rid of all that I don't need. And then I'm just going to pop them onto this nail. So I'm just going to do a red one up here. I've just pulled the sides of them off because they're already starting to dry. Green one there. Very cute. And then I'm going to have one more at the bottom that's going to be red. Definitely more of like a pinky red than a red, which is a bit annoying, but never mind. I am going to use a different one for the bottom. I'm just going to see whether the plain red looks better. So I'm just going to quickly do that and see how that turns out, just to see whether I should remove that pink one and go with the red instead. But let's just have a quick look, because as far as I remember, like every time I use this red I always think like, oh, this is a bit pink anyway. So yeah, I do think I prefer this one though. I am probably going to go ahead and remove that pink one at the top and just do it again but in the red. Okay, so I did it slightly different this time around just to fit two of each colour on. I just need to clean up a couple of bits that are there that I don't want. And then this nail is done so I can top coat it. I was questioning whether to put some sort of shimmer somewhere, but then I thought no, because there's plenty going on the other nails in terms of glitter. So I think we can cope with one nail not having any. So that's this nail done. So I'm just going to top coat this one. So that's that one top coated and nice and shiny, beautiful. So that's going in the lamp. So next up I'm going with this plate, and I'm going to use these smaller snowflakes because on this nail I'm literally just going to pop a couple just further down here. So I'm just going to get rid of this one for now. I'm also going to be going in with white for these nails because obviously we've got white within this set, so it won't look strange just have a random couple of white bits of stamping. It will go with the rest, and obviously you'll be able to see it much better over the top of the glitter. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So here's that nail done. You can see the stars and the snowflakes between them as well, so I think that's really cute. So that one's finished now. And then last but not least, we've got this nail, and I'm just going to literally just have a couple of snowflakes dotted around. Like, I'm not going to cover the whole nail, probably just have one up here and then one down here so you can see the glitter in between. So I'm just having a quick like pack away while they're in there, and I just wanted to quickly just give my verdict on the Smile Line cutter from Shein. If you use Smile Line cutters, then I absolutely recommend them. They are so cheap. You get like a set of 5 different ones, like £2 something, which I obviously don't buy Smile Line cutters very often, but that sounds really good to me. They're like 50p each. So definitely worth getting. I personally won't be using them again because I genuinely just find colour blocking like manually much easier, but that is just because that's how I started off doing it. Like, if you start doing it one way, then you usually stick with that because it's the way that you know best. But yeah, definitely recommend them if you are looking for some and you will make use of them. So I will probably put them in the giveaway just because it's something that I'm not going to use again, so there's no point me keeping them. But anyway, on to the end result. Let's have a look how they turned out. So this is the finished result. I absolutely love how they turned out. I hope you do too. I think they're so pretty, very different to anything I've done. And I was just trying to mix it up on the channel because uploading every day makes it quite difficult to like have something totally different all the time. But I'm so happy with how these turned out. I think they're just very different and just beautiful. So I hope you like them too. Let me know in the comment section whether you do or not, and give them a thumbs up if you do. And I'll be back really soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.